Today's date is June 29th, 2022, and it's 90 degrees out there, and I just biked in, so I'm going to need to take a brush to my hair. But the recording today from my diary is July the 19th, 2018. Guardian Angels or Dumb Luck. I woke up early and laid in bed seeing this incident from 20 years ago in such vivid detail, I felt compelled to come here and recount the story. We had built 2 large cages on the north lake bank. They were chain link and probably about 7 or 8 feet high. The cages went down into the lake so that the cats could swim, and the fences extended out there. The wooden orange crates were just falling apart from termites and carpenter ants, so we decided to use a couple of the concrete U's to make dens. They were too big to fit between the rails, so Don said he'd use the crane to lift them over the fence and set them in place. Made sense to me. What didn't make sense to me was why he insisted that I go inside the cage to show Kenny exactly where to set it. It didn't require that level of danger to myself to show Kenny that I wanted it set in the open away from the fence so that the cat couldn't use it as a launch pad to get out. I showed Kenny and he understood. Don flew into a rage. So I went into the cage and, feeling kind of silly, pointed to the ground in front of me and told Kenny, "Drop it here." Don was talking to Kenny and was clearly agitated, but I couldn't hear what was being said over the roar of the crane's diesel engine. I'd done my part, showed where to drop it, and started to leave. Don just had a hissy fit, saying that I had to stay right where I was. He angrily took Kenny's place on the crane to set the piece himself. Although it didn't make any sense that he'd need a person to mark the spot, since the spot really didn't matter much, he kept yelling at me to stand right there. It's usually just better to go along with his craziness than to buck it, so I complied. Until he swung the beam of the crane in my direction so quickly that it was obvious I was about to be batted off the ground by 7,500 pounds of a flying concrete slab. As I froze briefly and then began to run, the dangling concrete U's bashed into the fence and slowed its trajectory to where I stood. I got out of the way just in time, and Don was just livid. He said he was mad at the crane, the fence, Kenny, the servals, me, everyone or anything that he could blame. Years later, I wondered if he was angry he missed killing me. No telling what was going on in that delusional mind of his. I often tune into the Kitten Cabana live webcam, and I love listening to the waterfall that is now a feature of that concrete U. I wonder how Don would feel if he knew I derived such pleasure from something that now seems to have been meant to be my demise. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.